This is part 9 of our 11-part series covering Brush Studio. In this video, we'll be focusing on the Apple Pencil settings. For this example, we're going to use a brush from the painting set, something with a bit of grain, and stucco should be good. Now let's find the Apple Pencil settings on the left, just here. At the top of this list are the settings related to the pencil's pressure input. So let's put down a preview stroke with some variation in pressure. Our first setting here is size. If we move the size slider into the positive values on the right, then the size of our stroke will increase when we press harder. And with negative values on the left, then pressing harder will reduce the size of our stroke. Next down is opacity. When we set this to higher values, we get a greater range in the opacity that our brush can produce with pressure. Under this is flow, which determines the rate at which paint will flow from the brush. To the left, paint will flow more with a lighter touch, and to the right, more paint will flow the harder we press. Next down is bleed. This setting condenses the values in the shape and grain to create a more intense, crunchy effect, resulting in a look that's like pushing ink strongly into paper. At the bottom of the pressure settings is smoothing, which is kind of like the streamline for pressure input. It smooths the input of our different pressure-related settings in clever ways so that they're more gracefully applied. If we tap on the value field next to any of our pressure settings, then move across to pressure, we can customize the pressure curve for each setting individually. And each setting has its own slider for response, which is another type of input smoothing, but is based more on the speed of our brush strokes. Now let's get rid of these pressure settings and we'll take a look further down the list at our pencil tilt settings, at the top of which is the tilt graph. Now this determines at which angle, if at all, our brush stroke will be offset from the brush's tip. So let's draw 3 lines here, each one at an increasing angle. Then, by adjusting the graph, we can see just how slight this offset is. At most, it's about the length of the Apple Pencil's tip. This can be useful if, for example, we're changing the shape of the brush at a particular angle and we want to move the position from the tip that the stroke is being produced. Our first tilt setting is opacity. This works similarly as it does above, except that here it's triggered by tilt angle. Once we have a value set for any of our tilt settings, we can tap on the value field, move across to tilt, and then adjust the angle at which that setting's value will be triggered. The next setting down is gradation. This creates a fall off in each stamp of the brushstroke. Next, bleed is the same as it is above, except triggered by tilt. And the last 2 settings here are size and a toggle for size compression. Size is pretty straightforward. At higher values, we get more of a push in stroke size when tilting our pencil. With size compression toggled on, then we condense and normalize the range of size that our brush can achieve using tilt. With compression toggled off, we get a more aggressive ramping of potential size variation in our stroke. If we'd like to keep any edits we've made to this brush, we can hit Done here in the corner, or we can hit Cancel to discard our edits and leave Brush Studio.